This program is one in a series dealing with general highway maintenance tasks. The programs are not designed to be all-inclusive, but rather to provide a reasonable and logical basis for discussion about employee safety. The user should not assume that all safety measures are indicated or that other measures may not be required. Welcome to Job Safety Analysis, a video series about your workday and your personal safety. In this program, we will look at bituminous paving operations, and we will begin with job preparation. While the foreman will ensure the availability of a first aid kit, water, and a fire extinguisher, you must do your part in preparing for the job. You know you are going to be working on a bituminous paving operation that involves moving equipment, heated materials, and traffic. Think about those as you participate in your daily safety talk. Ask if you don't understand what it is you are to do. Be an active participant. It's your safety that's being discussed. Out on a job, your first line of defense is proper work zone traffic control. Maintenance-related bituminous paving is identified as a slow-moving or stationary operation. In either case, you are working close to moving traffic and very dependent on the flagger for your safety. Something to remember when it's your turn to flag. Flagging can be tedious and you can lose concentration. Don't assume anything. When you signal traffic to stop, be sure it has fully stopped before you turn away. And that can happen with professional drivers too. And it's not just your concentration that can stray. Look at the gray van. Whoops, driver inattentive, overcorrects, and there you are. And even in an operation where 3 flaggers are in use, you can find people who arrive unexpectedly. So what can be done? Be sure your traffic control setup is in accordance with the 203 and your local situation. Keep the flagger informed. If he had known the truck was going to do this, he could have held the cars a little longer. Position yourself away from the equipment. Don't blend into the background. Rotate flagging duties. This helps in keeping everyone alert. At break time or during the lunch period, take the opportunity to drive through the work zone. Your operation could have moved from your original starting point. Are the signs where they should be? Do they all have the 3 flags? Are the cones upright and in proper position? Look at the setup as the motorist sees it. Sometimes you'll find it safer to use a pilot vehicle to control traffic. The traffic following the pilot vehicle can have a gap. That doesn't mean the road is clear. Be alert. Along with the hazards of traffic, nature can cause you problems. Here is what might be termed the official plant of highway maintenance: poison ivy. This and its cousin, poison oak, are very prevalent in the Northeast and easily recognized. Look. Use a prevention barrier cleaner before exposure. If exposed, use a decontamination solution at the end of the day. If you do become infected, there is a treatment solution in the first aid kit. Insects are another consideration, and bee stings are common. If you find a colony, tell your supervisor, and don't disturb the bees. Not all environmental concerns are caused by nature. Man has made his contribution. Every year, highway workers are injured or killed from encounters with power lines. Even though you may be familiar with the area, the power lines could have sagged. Check your clearance at the beginning of the day. Don't wait for the accident. Even that nice cooling breeze can cause problems by blowing dust or fumes in your eyes. Just by doing paving, you are creating a tripping hazard. But much more common are falls or slips from vehicles. Regardless of location or time of day, enter and exit a vehicle using the three-point contact rule, even if others do it differently. Here is a frequent visitor to the paving operation, and its modern design makes it easy to use. Contrast it with how you have to use the older model. This requires non-skid soles and caution. To help control all those things, you have your personal protective equipment. There are operations where the need for personal protective equipment is obvious. But even where not obvious, the logic is still there. The flaggers have to be seen, both for the motor's protection and for their own. The reflectorized vest is mandatory and logical. The other crew members wear blaze orange fluorescent tops for the same reason the flagger wears the vest, to be visible. No other piece of personal protective equipment gets more comments than the hard hat. But they are required, and on occasion they come in very handy. Safety shoes are another obvious must. The same logic applies to the wearing of gloves. Using hand tools, coming in contact with heated materials, makes using gloves just common sense. Along with the traffic moving near the work zone, you must be aware of equipment movement within the work zone. Paving operations require teamwork to get the job done. So everyone's attention is focused, concentrated on the asphalt material. No one is watching out for you. One person is designated to control equipment backing. The operator knows who to look for, and the worker gives clear signals. The same is true if the project uses contract vehicles. The person who signs for the material is the person who the driver looks to for signals. Try it. It works. The next area deals with what is termed materials handling. And most people think this just relates to lifting, but it actually involves anything you do that could put a strain on your body, like bending over. You might do this death check 100 times a day, bending over and over again. Why not give your back a break? This will allow you to stand straighter and take the strain off your back. Really helps when you can't bend over. And anyway, why get so close to the fumes? When possible, use a machine to move material. A risk of back injury can occur anytime you are lifting or moving objects of over 50 pounds, more than 6 inches from your body, and that includes raking and shoveling. Never forget you are working with potentially hazardous materials. Asphalt is put down at a temperature near 300 degrees, and it doesn't cool that quickly. If you use solvents to clean tools, know what you are working with. Don't put potentially hazardous materials in unmarked containers. Doing your job, trying to remember all those safety tips, and now it's the end of the workday. Don't leave your safe work habits on the job. Take them home with you. Others depend upon your safety record. That's a general look at bituminous paving operations. Do you remember our 8 parts of the workday? Your workday can start pretty early. Arrive alert and ready. The yard can be congested and have a lot of vehicle movement. Once out on the job, stay alert. Watch out for yourself and your co-workers. Help protect the environment by preventing material spills. Use the equipment you are given. It's your safety. That sign has a message for you as well as for the motorists. The empty jug, when filled, gets pretty heavy. Lift with your legs and arms, not your back. Use and dispose of hazardous materials properly. And take those safety thoughts with you on the drive home. Remember, safety habits are formed by example, not just by advice. The producers of this program wish to thank the maintenance employees of Dauphin, Perry, and Cumberland counties. This program is one in a series dealing with general highway maintenance tasks. The programs are not designed to be all-inclusive, but rather to provide a reasonable and logical basis for discussion about employee safety. The user should not assume that all safety measures are indicated or that other measures may not be required. Welcome to Job Safety Analysis, a video series about your workday and your personal safety. This program will provide a general look at winter season operations. For plowing snow, spreading anti-skid or chemicals, plowing and spreading simultaneously, and other associated duties. And we will begin, as always, with job preparation. Your preparation for winter service work probably started some time ago when you underwent equipment operator training. The operating techniques you learned there are what you will be putting into practice now and not under the best of weather conditions. But with all that in the past, what do you do today to get ready? Dress for the weather. Dress in layers so you are prepared for changes in temperature. Be sure your truck is free of accumulated snow, especially the truck steps. During summer operations, you made certain you had a first aid kit and water. Still a good idea, and you might want to add some coffee. Before you leave the yard, make a radio safety check. Your truck is clear of snow and you are ready to begin your run. You have a different work zone for winter operations, not set off by cones and signs. This is your work zone and it begins in the yard. During a winter storm alert, the stocking area and the yard say take care. Slippery going, vehicle movement, all add up to a need for caution. And don't forget to disconnect your heater cable from the truck. Environment is one of your major concerns. During summer operations, you were warned about power lines. The warning is even more important now. The weight of snow or ice will cause those lines to sag. And you are running with a raised truck bed. Do you know the height of that truck bed?
Watch yourself. Better put your bed down now, Gary.
And don't forget those bridges on your route. Remember, operating some pieces of equipment is so noisy you can't hear cars or trucks approaching. You located all of these on your dry run, and you will have a chance to see if you were accurate. Pedestrians, disabled vehicles, fog, cars with no lights or one light, all factors that can affect your safety. And don't forget those snow-covered trees. They can be a problem. Whether required or just common sense, personal protective equipment is for your safety. The noise level of operating equipment may call for hearing protection. Proper outerwear is a must, and dress in layers. You may find yourself working inside during your shift. Safety shoes and gloves are items for all seasons. Equipment movement and the dangers associated with it are heightened during winter operations. Clearance judgment is critical when visibility is decreased due to the weather. We've already mentioned power lines, bridges, trees, and private vehicles. But don't forget the heavy highway traffic and the accidents that go with it. You slow down as you clear snow from the bridges. Check your mirrors. Be sure no one is ignoring that change in speed. And be especially careful when you are turning. Even with the need to get the job done, don't forget, when you have to lift something heavy, get help from a machine or your fellow employees. Winter operations bring you in contact with highway chemicals. Both calcium and sodium chlorides can, upon contact, cause eye injury and skin irritation or burns. When these chemicals are being loaded in your truck, stay in the truck. Once you turn for home, there is a tendency to relax. You've still got to park the truck, hook up the block heater, and go home. And remember, you're driving on wet or snow-covered roads after a long shift. Take the time to be safe. Do you remember our 8 parts of the workday? You may have to travel in bad weather just to get to work. Allow yourself sufficient time to do it safely. Once out on the job, be alert for your safety and conditions that may affect others. Be aware of changing weather conditions and adjust accordingly. But don't be deceived by slightly warming temperatures. You still have to dress for the cold. Anticipate where you may have to change your line of travel. If something has to be moved, use the help available. Remember to clean up any chemical spills. Reconnect your block heater and go home. Just remember you are traveling in the same kind of weather that got you called out. Remember, safety habits are formed by example, not just by advice. The producers of this program wish to thank the maintenance employees of Dauphin and Erie counties. This program is one in a series dealing with general highway maintenance tasks. The programs are not designed to be all-inclusive, but rather to provide a reasonable and logical basis for discussion about employee safety. The user should not assume that all safety measures are indicated or that other measures may not be required. Welcome to Job Safety Analysis, a video series about your workday and your personal safety. This program will provide a general look at equipment servicing, and we will begin with job preparation. Going to work is such a common thing, we sometimes do it without giving it much thought. But once you have safely reached the yard, your troubles could be just beginning. Believe it or not, this is a high accident area. Keep in the right lane and observe the low speed limit. Park carefully and properly. Don't block a lane or take up more than one space. Check your mirrors, look around before you open the car door. Once out, remember you are now a pedestrian. Be alert. If there is a marked walkway, use it. Walk facing oncoming traffic. Be alert for vehicles. You don't have a flagger in the garage, but you do have traffic, and traffic must be directed and controlled. Vehicles must stay in designated traffic lanes, move at slow speeds, and should stop, sound the horn, and proceed slowly when entering or exiting the building. And whenever possible, all vehicle movement should be forward. And whatever your location, in the garage or the yard, do your circle of safety before moving any vehicle. The garage is your workplace. You know how to get into the garage. In an emergency, do you know how to get out? You must know and be able to locate your exits. Are you to go or stay and help? Where are the fire extinguishers, the telephone, and for smaller emergencies, the location of the eye wash station, the first aid kit. And even though you are inside, the outside weather can have an inside impact. Wet equipment, water on the floor equals slippery surfaces. The garage is your environment. To be comfortable in it, you should understand its hazards and how you can minimize them. The workers on the highway are reminded of power lines and their danger. Your power lines are stretched across the floor. Use only the length of cable you need. Excessive cable makes the tripping hazard worse. If you're going to be using the cable for some time, tape it down. That helps prevent tripping, and if the tape is highly visible, so much the better. And when you are done with the cable, put it away properly. Personal protective equipment. Is it uncomfortable, unnecessary, unwanted? Let's look at some examples. Uncomfortable. Safety glasses are more comfortable than safety goggles. But safety glasses won't protect you from liquid splashes or anything coming from the side. They protect against impact only. Maybe here you need something extra. How about unnecessary? Recently, a worker assembled a tire, as this man is doing, but because the tire cage was in use, he elected to inflate it on the garage floor and was rewarded with an airborne trip and a dozen broken bones. Wanted, unwanted. All the department vehicles have decals concerning safety, and everyone who works in a garage can recognize the danger here. But while you're looking there, something else could be happening. Be sure that you want your hard hat or bump cap. Whether it's boots for a slippery surface, or ear protection when you see signs like this, or you have to holler to be heard, personal protective equipment is for your benefit. Ask for it, know how to use it, use it. Garage work is equipment work, like having to use this welding apparatus in a confined area, or using an air hose, a hose that has enough air pressure to penetrate your skin and cause an injury. Garage work is remembering to always pull on the wrench, don't push. Garage work is remembering that if you must enter or exit a piece of equipment, you don't forget your old friends, the clean, dry steps, and the three-point contact. Working with equipment means moving or lifting equipment. Every year you read about someone being hurt because an improperly jacked vehicle came down unexpectedly. Don't rely on a hydraulic jack alone. Use the available jack stands. Know the weight of what you are lifting. When in doubt, a little help is always appreciated. Back injuries are the #1 workplace safety problem. Don't be a statistic. Does your garage have hazardous materials? Almost every chemical product used in the garage has some potential for danger, ranging from products requiring extra protection, to reasonable protection, to common sense. All of the products are to be dealt with as the manufacturer's warning label and the material safety data sheets instruct. For example, a task as routine as changing engine oil. Waste oil contains carcinogens, substances that could cause cancer. Common sense. Wear eye protection. Gloves are a good idea, and wash your hands immediately after contact. You may not consider this as a hazardous material. You deal with them every day. But take a close look at what's printed on them, and the manufacturer does not print that information on his product unless he is required to do so. It's that time again. The workday is over. The garage is quiet. Tools put away. Work area picked up. You don't want to start tomorrow by cleaning up today's mess. Another day, another safe day. Maybe it's because you remember. Knowledgeable people know that flame burns. Smart people remember the blister. Do you remember our 8 parts of the workday? This past winter, over 4 dozen injuries occurred in the yard. Getting to work. Be alert. Be alert for vehicle movement and sudden changes in light intensity. Excessive dirt and debris do not contribute to the air quality in your garage. Match your personal protective equipment to the job. Make use of your provided protection. Some counties use this red warning light to say the fuel truck is in the garage. No welding or torching allowed. Once again, if you have to lift, think about getting help or a machine. Hazardous materials can get out of their containers. Clean up spills. Getting home can always be a problem. This driver must have just realized it got dark. Drive and think defensively. Before the winter season begins, take the opportunity to view the equipment servicing for winter videotape. The jobs you do can be seasonal. Safety has to be year-round. Remember, safety habits are formed by example, not just by advice. The producers of this program wish to thank the employees of Dauphin, Cumberland, and Erie counties. This program is one in a series dealing with general highway maintenance tasks. The programs are not designed to be all-inclusive, but rather to provide a reasonable and logical basis for discussion about employee safety. The user should not assume that all safety measures are indicated or that other measures may not be required. Welcome to Job Safety Analysis, a video series about your workday and your personal safety. This program will provide a general look at equipment servicing during winter operations, and we will begin with job preparation. And the first challenge is getting to work. Snow and ice-covered walks, along with the need to shovel out the car, account for a significant number of injuries. And once out on the road, drive with caution, even though the bad weather may have passed. Driving too fast for conditions could leave you like this. Be sure to dress for the weather. You may have to work outside the garage, or even out on the highway. So plan ahead before you get to the job. Working for transportation, we tend to think of work zone traffic control as something that occurs out on the road. But the yard can be as crowded as the highway, especially in bad weather, along with the crowded garage. Work zone traffic control in the garage means controlling vehicle movement while in the garage and entering or leaving the garage. Ideally, all vehicles entering or exiting the garage should be moving forward, but garage design may prevent this. If you must back out, watch for the glare. Sun and snow can hinder your eyesight. Environment is defined as the circumstances, objects, or conditions with which you are surrounded. Another word is housekeeping. Let's look at some examples. When chemicals are loaded into trucks, we ask the operator to stay inside the vehicle because excessive exposure to chlorides can be harmful. So why would you work around materials like that when you don't have to? That is salt, road dust, and debris that has fallen from equipment, and there's quite a bit of it. If possible, give the equipment a quick hosing outside, then bring it in for servicing. That good housekeeping should extend to your storage areas, as well as the garage areas themselves. On a more personal note, even if you had something in your eye, you would probably hesitate to use this eye wash station. Keeping the work area cleaned up is good for your safety and good for your health. Whatever your job, there is usually a need for personal protective equipment. On the road, your equipment helps you to be visible. In the garage, it helps to keep you from physical harm. Proper attire for the job you are doing can go a long way towards preventing personal injuries. Proper attire, along with the proper space to do the job. In the garage, the bump cap replaces the hard hat. The cap is meant to protect your head in close quarters or from things coming down without warning. Using safety glasses where there's a possible danger to your eyes is as much common sense as inflating a tire in a tire cage. Winter equipment servicing involves the need to get that plow back out on the road, out where it is needed. Don't let that need make you careless. Use caution with fluid hoses or air hoses. There is sufficient pressure to cause injury. And here's another tool to be respectful of. Keep your work area picked up. It makes it easier to find things and easier to clean up. There has certainly been enough said about proper techniques for materials handling. But people forget. Recently, while mounting a plow in the garage, with help, a worker suffered a severe hand injury when the hydraulic cylinder engaged. Keep your hands and your feet clear of areas of potential danger. Even as routine a job as this can cause problems. Stretching to get the last area before you need to move can strain your back, as well as put you in an off-balance position. Sometimes you have to lift, but other times you can use the design of the object to help. Periodically, the truck chains are separated and inspected for weak or broken links. Do you do the same inspection for the chain hoists? Do you work with hazardous materials? Just one glance into the storeroom answers that question. Almost everything you see has a label that says warning. But these materials are safe, and used properly should not present you with any problems if used as the material safety data sheets outline. That's not to say you can't make problems for yourself or for others. Should this worker use a respirator? He would know if he could refer to the MSDS. Without a label, that's difficult. Maybe you know what's going into this can. Will the next guy? And that lack of a label can get to be a habit. It's the same situation as with the videotapes you have at home. You only need a label when you have more than one. Know what you are using and know how to use it properly. It's been a busy and a tiring day, but you take the time to leave your work area clean and safe. As much as possible, the entire garage is left the same way. It's getting dark in a hurry. Be alert. Remember, you're just finishing a long workday. Take your time. Do you remember our 8 parts of the workday? Whatever the time, be alert and ready to go to work. Look around before you allow vehicles in or out of the garage. Help to keep your environment safe and healthy. You have an interest in it. If you move to a different work area, take your personal protective equipment with you. Even storing equipment properly can help. Here it is less strain on the hydraulic system and the boom is out of the way. Lift when you know it's proper. Or get the machine to take the load, not your back. Know the hazards of what you are working with. Labels help. At the end of the workday, leave your work area neat and take those safety habits home with you. Others do. Remember, safety habits are formed by example, not just by advice. The producers of this program wish to thank the employees of Dauphin, Cumberland, and Erie counties.